And welcome back. Yeah, we're just getting a bit of a recap here. Showing us what happened in the previous game, which we just finished, as well as the thing we may have overlooked that makes this game necessary. Oh my! This is a problem. So, what happened to the Sophia Zero? Well, we're gonna find out as we play Blaster Master 02. That's right, our tank's soul is no longer weighed down by gravity. Most of the time. Of course. Okay, a couple of things. We actually keep a lot of the movement options we had in the first game. We still have the submarine parts. We're going to get the hover back very soon. And we also have the Crusher shot, which means we can destroy all enemies and destructible blocks right away. The only thing we're missing is the wall climbing attachment, but don't worry, we'll be getting other movement options. So anyway, I've also fixed the weirdness I was having with my recording earlier. Apparently it was a bit of a codec thing. So now I have all of my old recording options in place. Everything's good now. So there are a few conversations we can have here with Eve. And even the equipment conversations contains some backstory about the world or the settings on the Sophia 3 and how, well, on the Gaia Sophia and how they came to be. And also what happened to the Sophia Zero. By the way, Fred is a different color for some reason. Even, like, the background stuff said, Fred changed to silver for some reason after going into space. So, let's get moving. I'm going to want that. So yeah, special weapons have a bit more utility in general in this game. However, you cannot automatically regenerate special energy in this game. The two ways to recover energy is first by grabbing energy pickups, but the other way is to fall from a great height. This game works on a reverse falling damage principle, in that you regain special energy from falling, and the longer the distance you fall, the better. Dropping onto a planet will recover quite a bit of energy, but you may have to get creative if you want to restore it elsewhere. Oh, and by the way, you can't cheat the system using the hover. It just doesn't work that way. The designers thought that people would do that, so no. Also, for the time being, the Gaia Sophia is Eve's heavily armored wheelchair. Okay, so Fred's wormholes are now a gameplay mechanic. If you are in the same room as the Gaia Sophia, you can actually use Fred to teleport back into it no matter where you're standing. And one of the changes is that Fred will also allow you to instantly exit any top-down dungeon once you've picked up the power-up there. Not just one with sub-weapons or other equipment items like that, but even ones that give things like maps. Okay, we have a new mechanic for the top-down areas, as you just saw. In addition to our main weapons and sub-weapons, Jason now has special counter moves that allow him some extra combat maneuvers. The one you just saw was the acceleration rifle, which allows us to deliver a counter shot at specific times during certain enemy attacks. We also have a brand new set of main weapons, and our main shot is now full screen even at the lowest power level. So our basic missile weapon is no longer just a three-way spread, it's actually a helix, which makes it a bit more useful. Plus it passes through walls, which makes triggering certain platforms like the ones on this planet somewhat easier. Because sometimes the trigger point will actually be completely surrounded by blocks. Plus, being able to shoot through walls is always a help. Now, we don't have Energy Guard yet, so things can get a bit tricky. Another thing is that counter shots or other counter maneuvers can often do things to enemies to make them more vulnerable. Even above and beyond just stunning them. Like, for these enemies, it completely negates their energy barrier for a while. And some enemies just can't stop shooting, and you can completely take advantage of that. So the weapons I have so far are regular shot, power shot, spray gun, shield, and there are a bunch of others. There's even a kind of melee attack in the roster this time, which is going to be absolutely crucial for one of the game's later bosses. The Wave Blaster is back, but it has been very heavily modified. It's no longer really game-breaking. It's still strong, but they've made some changes. Yeah, space is big. You're going to be taking a lot of time no matter what. So, as for Jason's weapons, they've completely removed the chain lightning, which means you actually have to deal with groups now. So I no longer have that easy out from getting swarmed by bunches of things. Come on, attack me. Thank you. Also, as you can see from the timed platform shooting segments here, the dungeon sections of Blaster Master 02 are a bit more involved than they were in the original. It's one of those things that comes with not having to cleave to the original layouts of the game or whatever. And if you drop these floating blocks on land instead of over spike pits, they crash down and actually do a little area damage thing. So here's the Wave Blaster. thing is, we can't just fire it willy-nilly. The more you mash on it, the weaker it gets, and if you weaken it down too much, you have to spend some time to recharge it, so its power's on a cooldown. And this is the tutorial boss. So, Macarantula isn't that tough, it's still a first boss, but it's still harder than the first boss of Blaster Master 01. It's kind of a test to see if you've actually learned the functions of your character in the new game, because you're gonna need to master these. Ow. I didn't take an embarrassing amount of damage. But this game is definitely harder than the previous one. So now we have the hover back. And this is what, like 10 minutes into the game? Yeah, just like in the previous game though, flight does not solve all of our mobility problems. Thank you, Fred. Okay, before we leave, there's actually another dungeon that I'd like to clear because it has a special weapon. Now, the thing about this game is that we don't actually need to grab all of the power-ups in order to get on the good ending path. However, when I was practicing this game, I managed to actually get the power-up that I wasn't able to figure out how to get last time, the first time I played through. So we're going to be grabbing everything anyway. There we go. I didn't really need to grab that, but I thought it would be a good idea. Another thing is that while you're doing the rifle counter, it's like bullet time, so you can get more space to move yourself out of problems. And I fell down. Yeah, there's going to be more sections like this later and harder ones. Okay, looks like we've got another boss here. So this guy, ow, swirls around the outside of the map, dropping mines. However, anytime he stops... Now, he'll stop on the outside if you don't interrupt him. However, if you do land a counter shot, he will just jump right into the middle immediately, and you don't have to wait for him. Ow. However, one thing I hope that's become obvious here is that I can't really just stand and spam wave cannon and win. Not even against the early bosses. And from the mine layer, I get mines. By the way, since we're using a brand new tank, you might have noticed that Jason has a different blaster rifle now to act as the key for it. But now we can leave. Oh, and grab this. Yeah, our repaired engines can give us escape velocity. What? Okay, dimensional tunnels that connect different star systems. Fred's wormhole ability. We need an access key to open up new areas. But not this time. Okay, the short version of all of that is that Fred is our FTL drive. Oh, another thing is that on the star map you can check what power-ups you've picked up in various areas and which ones you might still be missing. Yeah, it's just a tiny planetoid. These areas are typically very small, sometimes extremely dangerous, but they have things worth grabbing. Yep, sorry. You can't cheat with hover. Okay, so the Gaia Sophia was built out of parts from the Sophia Zero and Jason's own ingenuity. Well, Jason and Eve's. They would be. However, yeah, Jason ran the Sophia Zero out of juice. Yeah, if you'll remember from the previous game, if you tried to use the Sophia Zero at full power, it used up energy extremely quickly. So there's no way it would really have the endurance to make the journey through deep space. Oh, there's a boss right here. Okay, Hexa Baby isn't a terribly difficult boss, but it can be annoying. The best time to hit it is when it's hovering in the middle, but when it is, it will release those... all of those little fly enemies from the first game. However, it does not take that much damage. Annoying to hit, but can't take many of them. See? Done already. And I'll be taking that. Okay, so Hexa Missiles fires a swarm of 6 homing missiles. If you just tap the button, it fires 6 at one enemy, but if you hold it, you can target multiple enemies with the attack. So the key to this area is to trigger all of these rock clusters before you actually go up there with Jason, otherwise it's impossible to get to these little map items. We won't be getting to Area D for a while, but the other one unlocks something a little bit closer. As they said in the conversation, Jason takes normal falling damage. Okay, we out. That's all that we can do in this star system for now, so it's time to move on. Just making sure. Yeah, this game has quite a bit more dialogue than Blaster Master 01, but it also has a lot more characters. In the original it was just Jason, Eve, and Fred, but there's a much bigger cast this time around. Oh, the game also autosaves more often. Yeah, one thing that the game doesn't tell you is that getting hit on the way down can also disrupt special recovery. Just like usual. Oh! Well, we'll be checking that out next time. See you then!